This is Southern Cross News with Joe Palmer.
Treasurer Peter Gutwin came out firing today, already critical of Labor's budget response, which hasn't yet been delivered. He's accusing his opposition of making grand plans to spend over $500 million with no outline of where it's going. But Labor's shifted the focus and shaken off criticism, saying it's fully prepared for tomorrow's budget response.
Liberal and Labor going tit for tat over who does or who doesn't have the right numbers.
We can't allow Labor to wreck the budget. They've demonstrated in past days that they are incompetent, that they cannot even read the budget papers.
It's a shame the Treasurer can't count. We will be providing tomorrow a detailed account of all of our priority areas, how they'll be funded, and I think that's what Tasmanians are mostly looking forward to seeing.
The Treasurer says it's extraordinary Labor has picked holes in his budget but hasn't promised a full alternative in its response.
You can't run around making promises which now tally around $580 million and not explain how you're going to pay for it.
Labor has worked very hard to make sure that we can deliver an economic direction statement for Tasmania that sets out what our priorities are, how they'll be costed and how they'll be funded.
The opposition remaining tight-lipped on what will be included tomorrow, but it did announce that it would fully fund 6 new family and childcare centres in high-need areas statewide if it was elected. It says the centres would cost $21 million as an alternative to the government's proposed early starting age policy.
It's unashamedly about wrapping support around the entire family, not just removing a child for 15 hours a week.
Meanwhile, the Greens say it would roll out a $25 million package and would include free energy efficiency upgrades to low-income households and small businesses. Ms O'Connor says this budget doesn't provide cost of living relief for Tasmanians.
What we've got out of them is 1 year of power price relief, a dodgy Westpac credit card scheme and the promise of water and sewerage bill relief for legislation we haven't yet seen for a proposal which has been largely rejected by councils.
Louise Hedger, Southern Cross News.
Centrelink debts could be waived for people who've been affected by domestic violence if a private member's bill is passed. Tasmanian MHR Andrew Wilkie introduced his bill, which will allow debts to be disregarded in cases of domestic or family violence in Canberra this morning. Mr Wilkie using a Tasmanian woman's story to push his case, saying she was forced by an abusive partner to falsely claim she was single.
And this unfortunate soul has a debt of $23,000, which somehow she's got to repay. And I think we would all agree that that is a terrible situation and something that we really should look to remedy.
The bill will now need to be debated by the federal government. The actions of 2 Tasmanian police officers have made national headlines after they helped an intoxicated man home and then took this selfie on his phone in the likely event he wouldn't remember his night the next day. Reese found the photo, taking to social media today to thank the officers, calling them legends.
Yeah, we've actually spoken to him. He's feeling a bit sheepish, I think. But he's happy that he got home. He's happy the police gave him the ability to get home.
But police are now reminding partygoers it's not their duty to be a taxi service and say people should plan their night before they start drinking. The Tasmanian Breath of Fresh Air Film Festival have cancelled this year's event, blaming venue issues as the reason. The festival has run for 7 years at Launceston's Inveresk precinct, attracting movie lovers from across the country. But organisers say as the venue doesn't have cinema-grade projection, there are many films they can't show. BOFA hopes to launch a new-look festival next year. Many Tasmanians have witnessed a stunning glow of purple and yellows, last night's sky lighting up in a spectacular aurora. Many photographers captured the sight across the state, with most taking their images around 6:30. An aurora happens when bursts of particles from the sun collide with the upper atmosphere. Astronomers can't predict when the next event will be, but say photographers should go out every night in case. To see the lights, it's recommended to look south and get away from the city lights. Let's take a look at the day's business and finance with thanks to Tasplan, your local super fund. A slide in banking stocks has driven the Australian share market to its lowest level since March, as investor nervousness about regular activity weighs on financial stocks. The ASX 200 index has dropped by 44.6 points. A short time ago, the Australian dollar was trading at 74.34 US cents and 105.2 New Zealand cents.
The votes are in for the RACT Insurance Player of the Year in the TSL after round 9, with Mitch Carter awarded the 3 votes in the Tigers' narrow win over Devonport. Jay Blackberry continued his good form with 3 votes in Launceston's huge win over Glenorchy. Clarence midfielder Jackson O'Brien was best on ground against North Launceston, and Robbie McManus took the 3 votes in Lauderdale's huge victory over Burnie. And it's a tight leaderboard with Zach Burt now joined by his coach Tom Couch at the top of the table. They're just 1 vote clear of 3 players on 8 votes. Mitch Carter and Jackson O'Brien 1 vote further back on 7. And still on the TSL, 2 of the big improvers in 2017 are showing they have what it takes to play finals football this season, after Launceston and Clarence respectively defeated the 2 grand finals from last year in round 9 of the TSL. Clarence head into the bye with just 1 loss to their name, while Launceston, with 5 wins from 8 matches, have finals on their minds. In what coach Sam Lonergan described as the club's best win of the season so far, Launceston will waste little time reflecting on their 70-point win over reigning premiers Glenorchy at Windsor Park last Saturday. The Blues were super impressive in their victory, with Lonergan particularly pleased with the progress of a number of its younger players, including 18-year-olds Brodie Palfreyman and Alex Wright.
Guys like that and seeing them develop and our older guys not needing to be in the best and these guys really putting their foot forward is a fantastic result for the playing group and the club.
Meanwhile, Clarence find themselves sitting second on the ladder, however, with just the 1 loss for the season so far and victories over Glenorchy and North Launceston. Midfield star Jackson O'Brien says the club is keeping a lid on things at the moment.
No, it's a positive. It's been a good start to the season, but we've got plenty of football left in front of us, so we're definitely not getting ahead of ourselves.
To soccer, and following its emphatic 6-2 victory over previous NPL Tasmania ladder leaders Olympia, South Hobart coach Ken Morton paid tribute to his players and said a positive quick start to the clash, which saw them 3-0 up after just 35 minutes, was critical.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it's how we want to start every game. We have the ability to create those chances early in a game, and on Saturday we took those chances.
And Tasmania's Alex Peroni has finished 6th in the latest round of the Formula Renault Euro Cup Series in Monaco. The 17-year-old, who registered his first career win in France last weekend, now sits 5th overall in the championship and is the leading first-year driver in the series. The next round will be held in Hungary on July 1 and 2.
Good evening. Hobart, Burnie and Devonport all 13 today. Launceston reached 14 and 15 was as warm as it got. Bridport and St Helens on that mark. Lyowini, Cressy and Lake Leak our low with -2. A few showers today over the west, south and Bass Strait and a foggy start over the central north. Flinders Island 14 degrees, King Island, Low Head, Wynyard, Friendly Beaches, Campania and Strawn all on that popular number today of 13. There is a broad band of cloud associated with the front that approached Western Tasmania today that extended back too over southern Western Australia. Low cloud covers much of southern South Australia and Victoria. Convective low cloud streamed in from the west today and covered a fair portion of the central and western part of Tasmania. Tomorrow a front should cross in the early morning and quickly move through. A high builds over the bight, extending a ridge over most of the mainland. The wind's tending southwesterly at 15 to 20 knots over all waters, with the exception of the southwest lakes. Swells in western and southern waters at 3.5 metres. Strong wind warning for all coastal waters between Sandy Cape and Low Rocky Point. We have a bushwalkers alert for the western and central plateau districts, warning of snow down to 600 metres. And for tomorrow, showers for Hobart, just 11, 12 the top for Adventure Bay, Tarraleah showery, 0 overnight to a top of 7. Launceston showers easing, 13 the maximum, 13 for Devonport with early showers, showers early too for Bridport, 15 the maximum. For Burnie tomorrow, early showers and 13, cool in the west with a few showers, Strawn 11 and Marrawar 12. And for St Helens, showers clearing, 14 the top, 13 for Swansea. White Mark showers easing later in the day, as will the winds, a top of 15 degrees. On Wednesday, showers over the west and south, falling of snow to 800 metres, fine elsewhere after a morning frost. Showers over the west on Thursday and morning fog and frost in the north ahead of a fine day. And on Friday, showers over the west and later the south. Sunny and 25 in Perth tomorrow, a morning shower for Adelaide and Melbourne. A frost to start the day in Canberra, 13 there. Sunny weather for Sydney and Brisbane, sunny as well in Darwin and 33. Some cloud over Hobart, 9 at the moment, 7 degrees, and clear in Launceston, Devonport, currently 9 degrees. And Joe, did I hear you say your little mate's back? Last 2 weeks, all I've been eating is satay and seafood, and I put on 3 kilograms. How'd that happen?
It's the beer you washed it down with, my love. Good to have you back. Thank you very much, Murph. Well, that's all from the news team for now. Thanks so much for your company. We'll see you a bit later with updates. Bye-bye.